An atheist once said to me, "How would you define God in such a way as to satisfy me?" And I said, "Why don't you define God as the highest potential that you can imagine for yourself?" He was surprised and thought for a moment. He said, "Well, that's a definition I could live with." Many people don't believe in God basically because they don't accept the definitions that have been given to them of God. But we do live in a universe that has much higher potentials than we've explored for ourselves so far. It would have to be so. The very fact that we can imagine higher potential means that it exists at least as a potential. And to call that potential conscious is inescapable in a universe in which the reality underlying everything seems increasingly to be consciousness. And so to call that consciousness God is a very natural thing. But when we think of God, even if we believe in God, we tend to think of that reality in mental, intellectual terms, whereas the totality of consciousness has to include all the things of which we are conscious, including love, joy, peace, kindness, compassion. These have to be expressions of the highest that is in us, and therefore of the highest that is. So what I have found is that to love God is perhaps the highest key to inner peace. Because what we receive, we get back. And what we put out, we get back. And what we put out, we also expect to get back. So it's not only that we are treated kindly by people if we treat them kindly, that's usually true, but not always true. But in our own expectations, when we treat others kindly, we somehow expect kindness from them because that's our mental state, even if they themselves don't share that state. And so to love God is to feel not only His love, but the expectation of His love. It's to feel at rest in the universe. It's to feel at peace wherever we go, knowing that we are secure, that even though life gives us many ups and downs, there is something there guiding us and sustaining us. Now, if one doesn't live that, he may think, what a lovely sentiment. But if he lives it, if he lives the things that we've been talking about, if he lives the practice of daily meditation, he discovers that in fact there is some kind of reality there sustaining him. That even in the worst circumstances, somehow things suddenly seem to go right. And nothing ever really goes wrong. And even when things go contrary to one's own desires, one discovers in the end that they were exactly the best thing for him. And it's more than sentiment, it's fact. So if you want to know inner peace, love God, and live sustained by His love, both in the expectation of it and the deeper you go in meditation by the actual experience of it. And you will see in that experience a new inner freedom, a new happiness welling up within you that will somehow permeate every level and avenue of your life.